Why is it that so many good men find themselves stuck in the same frustrating cycle, constantly chasing women who seem increasingly uninterested the harder they try? You text first, you plan the dates, you're always available, and yet something's not working. The more you pursue, the more distant she becomes. Think about it. In your eagerness to show interest, you've probably found yourself checking your phone obsessively, wondering why she hasn't responded to your message from 3 hours ago. You've cancelled plans with friends just to be available in case she's free. You've planned elaborate dates, hoping to impress her, only to be met with lukewarm enthusiasm. It feels awful, doesn't it? That gnawing feeling in your stomach when you're always the one initiating contact. The subtle anxiety that builds when you realize you're putting in all the effort while getting diminishing returns. The question inevitably enters your mind. What am I doing wrong? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The chase itself might be what's pushing her away. When we constantly chase someone, we unconsciously communicate something powerful, that we value them more than we value ourselves. And paradoxically, this imbalance doesn't create attraction, it erodes it. Let's take a step back and look at the psychology behind this pattern. Human beings, all of us, are wired to value what we work for over what comes easily. We appreciate what we earn more than what's freely given. This isn't manipulation, it's human nature. Think about anything you've ever truly valued in your life. Was it handed to you effortlessly, or did you have to work for it? That promotion at work, that skill you mastered, that achievement you're proud of, the value came, at least in part, from the effort required to obtain it. Relationships follow this same psychological principle, whether we like to admit it or not. When someone feels they've earned your attention, your time, your affection, they value it more deeply than if it's constantly available without any investment on their part. The chase dynamic creates a fundamental imbalance in how value is perceived. When you're constantly available, constantly initiating, constantly accommodating, you're unintentionally sending a message. My time, attention, and presence are always available to you, regardless of how you respond. Pause for a moment and consider how that might feel from her perspective. Initially flattering, perhaps, but over time, it creates a strange psychological effect. The very abundance of your attention diminishes its perceived value. So what's the alternative? Am I suggesting you play mind games or become emotionally unavailable? Absolutely not. What I'm suggesting is something far more authentic and ultimately more attractive, developing genuine self-value. The men who naturally attract women aren't the ones who chase hardest. They're the ones who have built lives they genuinely enjoy living. Lives with purpose, passion, and fulfillment that exist independently of romantic validation. Let me be clear, this isn't about pretending to be busy or feigning disinterest. Women can see through that immediately. This is about actually becoming so engaged with your own life that you don't have the time or inclination to chase anyone. So here's what you do instead of chasing. First, invest deeply in yourself. What are your passions? What skills have you always wanted to develop? What experiences have you been putting off? Start there. The man who's learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3 nights a week, improving his cooking skills, deepening friendships, and working toward meaningful goals simply doesn't have the time or energy for excessive pursuit. Consider this. When was the last time you pursued something purely for yourself, not with the hidden agenda of impressing her or anyone else? When was the last time you lost track of time doing something that fascinated you? Return to that feeling. Cultivate more of those moments in your life. Second, establish and maintain healthy boundaries. When you make plans with friends, keep them, even if she suddenly becomes available. When you have a productive morning routine, stick to it, even if she texts late at night. These aren't tactics, they're expressions of self-respect. Third, shift your mindset from, how can I get her to like me, to, is this person actually compatible with what I want in my life? This mental repositioning changes everything. Instead of seeing yourself as the pursuer trying to win approval, you become the selector evaluating potential matches. This shift isn't just semantic, it transforms how you show up in every interaction. When you're trying to impress, you're performing. When you're evaluating compatibility, you're being authentic. The difference is palpable, and women notice it immediately. Fourth, practice genuine reciprocity. Match her energy and investment. If she takes days to respond to texts, don't respond instantly. If she makes minimal effort in conversations, mirror that energy. Again, this isn't about playing games. It's about valuing your attention enough not to give it disproportionately. Think of it as an energetic dance. When one person is constantly leaning forward while the other leans back, the dance feels awkward, unbalanced. But when both partners mirror each other's energy, stepping forward together, creating space together, there's a harmony that feels natural and compelling. Fifth, and this is crucial, develop comfort with uncertainty and space. The need to constantly check in, to know where you stand, to fill silences, these all stem from insecurity. The man who can say, "I'd love to see you Thursday," and then genuinely go about his life without anxiously awaiting her response demonstrates a rare and attractive quality, emotional self-sufficiency. This comfort with space creates something magical in relationships, room for desire to develop naturally. Without this space, there's no opportunity for her to miss you, to wonder about you, to look forward to seeing you again. Now, here's what happens when you genuinely implement these changes. The dynamic shifts entirely. When you're no longer chasing, you create space. Space that allows her to step forward, to wonder about you, to miss your presence. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the absence of your pursuit creates an opportunity for her interest to grow. When you're genuinely engaged with your own life, you become more interesting by default. You have stories to tell, experiences to share, perspectives that come from active living rather than passive waiting. When you're evaluating compatibility rather than seeking approval, your interactions change. You ask more meaningful questions. You listen more attentively. You're present rather than performing. And this authentic presence is magnetic when you value your time and attention, demonstrating that through boundaries and reciprocity, you communicate something powerful, that your interest, when given, is meaningful precisely because it isn't given indiscriminately. I've seen this transformation hundreds of times. Men who were stuck in cycles of pursuit and rejection suddenly finding themselves pursued, not because they'd learned manipulation tactics, but because they became men whose lives were already full, whose validation came from within, whose time and attention had genuine value. The irony is beautiful. The moment you truly stop needing someone to want you is often the moment they begin wanting you most. This approach requires courage. It means facing the possibility that without constant pursuit, some connections might fade. That's okay. Those weren't connections. They were pursuits. Real connection, by definition, is mutual. It requires patience. The shift doesn't happen overnight. There's no text message you can send today that will immediately transform how she sees you. This is about becoming a different man, not performing different behaviors, and it requires honesty with yourself, most of all. Are you genuinely building a life you love, or are you making superficial changes hoping they'll make you more attractive? The former works. The latter is transparent and ineffective. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, completely stop chasing. Not as a strategy to make her want you, but as a commitment to valuing yourself. Invest those hours you've spent pursuing into building skills, experiences, and connections that enrich your life regardless of her response. What might this look like in practice? Perhaps it means finally signing up for that photography class you've been considering. Maybe it's recommitting to your fitness goals with consistency and purpose. It could be deepening your friendships by being more present and engaged when you're with them. Become so engaged with living well that you don't have the bandwidth for pursuit. Develop such clear boundaries that disproportionate investment isn't even an option. Cultivate such genuine curiosity about compatibility that approval-seeking fades naturally. What you'll discover might surprise you. Some women will indeed drift away. They were never really interested, just responding to your pursuit. That's valuable information. Others, though, perhaps even the one you've been chasing most persistently, might suddenly see you differently. Not as the man who needs her validation, but as the man who offers something increasingly rare in today's world, a genuinely fulfilling life that she's invited to share rather than complete. This is the fundamental shift in dynamic, from pursuing someone to fill a void in your life to inviting someone to complement a life already rich with meaning and purpose. Stop chasing her. Start living with such purpose and authenticity that the right woman will see joining your journey as an opportunity, not a favor she's doing you. The space you create by stepping back isn't emptiness. It's an invitation for her to step forward into a connection based on mutual desire rather than pursuit and response. And that, ultimately, is what both of you truly want. Not the hollow satisfaction of a successful chase, but the profound fulfillment of a genuine connection between two whole, self-sufficient people who choose each other not out of need, but out of desire. Remember this. The most attractive quality you can develop isn't persistence in pursuit, it's persistence in becoming the best version of yourself. When you redirect that energy from chasing her to growing yourself, everything changes.